How's it going there, eh? What's wrong, smallish bear? Are you sad because Donald Trump won, eh? Yeah, he's real stupid. Tell everybody I'm on my way.
It's the Pesto Pod, the Pesto Pod, the Pesto Pod.
Hello and welcome to the Pesto Pod. I'm filming this the day after Election Day, so spirits are low. Feelings are grim. Not feeling great. Very sad. If I talk about it too much, I will cry. So we're gonna move on. But it is worth mentioning that I went on a date last night and I liked the guy. If you follow me on TikTok, he's Ratatouille guy, so I was like pumped. He voted for Trump. Terrible. He actually didn't explicitly say that. I sat down at the date and I asked him, well, okay. I was like, I would normally never ask this because on a first date, it's crazy. But it's election day, so, did you vote? How you feeling? Where are you leaning? And he was like, I don't really like discussing who I voted for with people. And I had a purse that had a Harris Waltz pin. So I feel like if he voted for Kamala, he would have just said it. The fact that he didn't tell me kind of says that he voted for big old Trumperooski Booski. So that's really depressing. And listen, let me say this. I'm going to say this and I'll be done. Then I'll be done. We'll move on. I don't give a shit if you're a Republican. I really don't. Okay, so you think the economy should work this way? Whatever. You grew up conservative. You grew up in a rural area. You have different values than me. Whatever. We're all different. That's what makes the world go round. I disagree. I'm a registered Democrat. But, I'm not going to fucking hate you because you're from a completely different lifestyle. Completely different background than me. Whatever. Being a Republican and voting for Donald Trump are not the same to me. Donald Trump is a psychopath. He is a felon and a rapist and a narcissist, and he is rash and terrible. I don't understand how you can hear him talk and think that he is fit for office. I don't understand it. So I don't give a shit if you're a Republican, but if you voted for Donald Trump, I think you're fucking stupid and sexist because there was a candidate who is not a rapist and a felon and a narcissist and rash and whatever, but she's a woman, so she didn't win. Let me know. Okay, I'm done. Am I? Yeah, I'm done. We wanna drown our sorrows in some factual education and some good humor here on the Pesto Pod, and that's what we're going to do. But last night when I was getting ready for my date, when I do my makeup, I need to have a TV show on. I just need constant stimulation. I feel like that's a universal experience. So I already finished season 13 of Call the Midwife. I finished Fleabag. My mom's calling me. Anyway, finished Fleabag. Made me cry, by the way. Wow, Fleabag's so good. I loved it. Made me cry. I rewatched Avatar: The Last Airbender. What the fuck was I supposed to watch? So, ladies and gentlemen, I watched Disney's Brother Bear. Oh my God, did Disney cook with Brother Bear? They popped their fucking pussies with Brother Bear. It's so good. I'm going to describe the plot to you. I don't care if you've seen it, and I don't care if you don't want to know the plot to Brother Bear. I'm going to tell you. We got these three brothers in Ice Age time Inuit culture, somewhere in Alaska or Canada, I presume. And I'm going to say it, they're hot. They're three hot brothers. Well, the youngest one may be a little young for me to say that. The oldest one's hot. I'll say it. I'm not afraid. We got these three brothers. The youngest one, his name is Kenai, and Kenai wants to be a man. He wants to be a big macho man with masculinity coming out of his butthole. So he one day is pissed off at this bear because this bear eats his fishing net or something. Drama. And he just I'm gonna go kill that bear, and then everyone's gonna know what a big man I am with a big fat cock. So he goes and chases this bear. The bear starts attacking him naturally. The two brothers race over to try to help their boy, and they're at the edge of this glacier, and the bear is about to attack Kenai and the middle brother. And the oldest brother takes his like spear or whatever, and he breaks off a piece of the ice of the cliff of the glacier so that him and the bear will fall, protecting his brothers. He sacrifices himself to save his brothers. That is a crazy, heavy, deep, intricate, and complex concept for a Disney movie. I love it. Sacrificing himself, sewer slide. That's a crazy thing to put in a Disney movie. But I honestly, I like love when children's movies like address some heavy concepts. They gotta hear it. I took a class in college called Children's Media, and we learned about, apparently there's an episode of Sesame Street where the actor who plays the actor who plays one of those like dudes in the stores, what's his name? It's not Mr. Noodle. He's in Elmo's world, and he's got to be dead too. That guy was like 80 when I was 2 years old. Mr. Whatever. He dies. Okay, the actor. Sorry, I just hit puberty. And they have him die on the show. And there's a scene with Big Bird and Maria, you know my girl Maria, where Maria tells Big Bird, like, Mr. What's-His-Nuts died. And Big Bird is like, oh, that's okay, I'll see him when he gets back. And then Maria's like, no, Big Bird, when somebody dies, it means they're not coming back. And it's very sad, but it's okay because we're allowed to miss them and be sad. It's like, it's so heartwarming. And people were up in arms. People got their panties in a wad because they're like, why is Sesame Street talking about death? Hello, Diane. Death is a very much important certainty of life. We gotta tell our kids about death. And here they are hearing about it from one of their comfort characters on one of their favorite TV shows in terms they can understand. I'm on board. I'm on board with that. And it would be so helpful if like they had a pet or a family member, a grandparent or something die, and they're able to grasp that concept. I'm all for children's shows introducing tough concepts. I'm all for it. This is neither here nor there, though. The brother dies. The brother in Brother Bear dies. He falls off the glacier and dies. The bear does not die. The bear lives. But Kenai is like, you know, because he's got like toxic masculinity, is like, fuck that bear. I'm going to go kill that bear because he killed my brother. Revenge killing. So he goes and chases the bear up this mountain and he stabs the bear, kills him. And they show that too. That's crazy. They be showing crazy things in Disney movies. I kind of love it. I don't know why, like, there's always like scary things in Disney movies, but it made me feel like I was like watching an actual movie. I love when like children's movies are allowed to be like cinematic too. I eat that shit up. It makes me think of like Tarzan, where the villain there fully hangs himself. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? You see his lifeless corpse hanging by the noose of some tree in Disney's Tarzan, with bangers by Phil Collins. Disney's Tarzan, you see a man hang himself to death. That's cuckoo bananas. I digress. Kenai stabs the bear, and then all of a sudden the Northern Lights appear. Now, the Northern Lights were very important in like Inuit and Arctic indigenous cultures because, hello, they're fucking crazy. I'm obsessed with the Northern Lights. That's on my bucket list, is to see the Northern Lights before I die. I truly, 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 truly think that if I gaze upon the Northern Lights, I will be cured of everything that has ever ailed me. I will look at the Northern Lights and it will cure my UTI, my deviated septum. I can finally go off Prozac once I clock that shit. And I don't know what the science is behind it's like, that's too much science for me. It's like gas and moon rock or some fucking stuff. I don't care. That's magic. That's the spirits. Aurora Borealis. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. The Northern Lights show up, and then the older brother, who's dead, the dead brother, appears as a spirit, and he turns Kenai into a bear. So Kenai wakes up and he's like, what the fuck's going on? I'm a bear. I'm literally covered in fur. I have paws. I'm a bear. And he has to make the journey back to the top of this mountain so that he can face his brother's spirit again and try to become a human again. On the way, he meets this little bear cub. His name is Coda. And he's annoying as fuck, but he's really cute. So we stan. And they go on this heartwarming journey together because Coda was separated from his mother. And so they go on this little journey and they learn about brotherhood and life is good and it's super cute. There's these Canadian moose that absolutely fucking make the movie and love it. They get to the salmon run. Oh wait, I didn't even say that. Coda is going with Kenai because he's going to the salmon run. Did I say that? I don't know. Obsessed with the salmon run. I'm gonna tell you all about it in a minute. But the two of them, they make their way over there and they're at the salmon run. Kenai meets all these other bears and he realizes like, oh, bears aren't bad. And he's like vibing and he feels like he's at home and he feels like he has a family and life is good. And then all the bears like sitting around the campfire and they're telling tall tales, right? They're telling legends and anecdotes. And Coda is like, I'm gonna tell you guys what happened, how I got separated from my mom. He's like, it was crazy. These monsters like cornered my mom on a cliff and they were throwing sticks at her. And then the cliff broke and she fell. And Kenai is realizing, oh my God, the bear is Coda's mom. Chills. Chilling. Shiver me timbers. Kenai realizes that the bear he killed is Coda's mom. He killed Coda's mom. So he has a full bear anxiety attack and he like runs into the brush. And then Coda comes and is like, what's wrong, brother? And I don't know why I said it like that. And Kenai comes clean and is like, I killed your mom, low key, high key. Coda's really upset. And my guy's like, I just got to get to the top of the mountain and become a human again because I'm not cut out to be a bear. And so he goes to the top of the mountain and who's waiting for him at the top of the mountain but his middle brother who vowed to kill the bear that killed his other two brothers, so he thinks. But he doesn't know that the bear is Kenai. So the middle brother, whose name eludes me at this moment, is like, I'm gonna kill this bear, and he's like got a dagger and he's ready to go. And then the spirit of the older brother appears and he's like, don't kill that bear, that's your brother. And he's like, this is a bear. And he's like, no, that's Kenai, I turned him into a bear. Whatever. Kenai becomes a human again. But then it's really cute because Kenai decides to stay a bear so that he can be like a brother to Coda because Coda has nobody because he killed his mom. What a heartwarming tale of brotherhood and man's relationship with nature. Am I right? Seriously, I love it. Obviously, it's all about like family and love and whatever. But it's also like, you know, nature's dangerous, but you can't be mad at it for being dangerous because you're on nature's turf, baby doll. Like you gotta respect the earth you're on. I love that. What a great message. And I love learning about the Inuit culture for real, because their relationship with nature is truly so interesting. There's a creator that I follow on TikTok. I believe her name is Sheena. I hope I don't have that wrong. You've definitely seen her though. She's got the really cool like tribal tattoos. They're badass as fuck. She's so cool. She talks all about like Inuit culture. And if you've seen her, you probably know her from, she like talks about eating beluga whale. Actually, I don't believe she's Inuit. I believe she's Inuk is the name of her specific indigenous group. But yeah, they eat beluga whale. They have like this little tool called an ulu. Look this shit up if you don't know what I'm talking about. It's this tool called an ulu and it slices through the fat of the beluga whale and they eat it raw because that's just like their body has just adapted to eating raw meat, raw fish. It's crazy. And I know everyone sees it and they get all butthurt. They're like, are beluga yugis not endangered? Listen, these indigenous groups have mastered sustainable hunting. My guys know how to hunt in a way that honors the animal. They use every part of the animal. I went to the museum in Anchorage when I was in Alaska. They had all these like clothes, tools, jewelry, toys, everything that were like indigenous artifacts. Everything is made from animal products. They are so sustainable, so resourceful. I guarantee you any sort of like endangerment of those animals is not due to the sustainable hunting done by indigenous groups. I swear that on my life. And also, I learned a ton about when I was at the museum. The salmon, their relationship with salmon, speaking of the salmon run, is crazy because it was such an important food source and still is. And I know all about it and I'm going to tell you all about it. The salmon life cycle is fucking crazy. If you don't know about the salmon run, it's insane. I would encourage you to go see if there's some documentary voiced by David Attenborough where he talks about the salmon run, because it is truly a feat of nature and I do not understand it and no one does, and it's insane. Basically, these salmon, you know salmon. You might be familiar with salmon, the fish. Salmon Run, by the way, is not to be confused with if a fishy drag queen does the New York City Marathon. I just thought of that. I don't know if I executed it well, but there's a joke in there somewhere. Basically, salmon they hatch in these freshwater streams. Okay, sure. Then they haul their asses to the ocean, and they live in the ocean for many years. I don't know. I think maybe like 4 is like the time frame. 4 years. I also want to say 7 years. I don't know. They live in the ocean. They're chilling. They're swimming. They're eating. They're living life. They're doing good. Something triggers them every 4 years to migrate. And I don't know how these fuckers know. They're all in cahoots with one another. They're all on the same page. But they're like, oh, time to migrate. I think scientists think it's like the Earth's magnetic pull, maybe, that tells them it's like it's time to go. Or like some sort of chemical pheromone they put out, but they get together and they go, it is time to fuck, respectfully. They are horned up and it's time to fuck. But the thing is, they will go back to the place that they were born to lay their eggs. But it has been years of them kikiing in the ocean. They have to make it back to where they were born, and they fucking do it. These freaky little fuckers. Something triggers them, all of them, to just flock back, and they know where they were born. They know where they're going. It's insane. It's like the Wednesday before Thanksgiving when everyone and their fucking brother goes home and goes to their hometown dive bar for Blackout Wednesday. And you see some fucking guy you made out with in high school, and now he's a coke addict who goes to Tampa. I don't know if that's a unique experience or if it's universal, but I went to girls' school. There was like a brother school run by the Jesuits, and I see those fuckers everywhere whenever I go home. And one of the kids that was in my year that I went to high school with just got arrested for soliciting a minor. Can you believe that? That doesn't sound very Jesuit. Sex with a 12-year-old? Actually, maybe that does sound a little Jesuit. I shouldn't have said that. Basically, these salmon, back to the salmon, they swim hundreds to thousands of miles. I think Atlantic salmon swim up to 6,000 miles during the salmon run. Oh, is it an easy journey? No, Mary Lou, it's not. They are hatched from mountain streams on the top of mountains. My guys have to swim hundreds or thousands of miles upstream. This means against heavy currents, against waterfalls. They have to literally jump up waterfalls. I've seen it. They yeet themselves out of the water and they shimmy slide up waterfalls. They can jump 12 feet in the air. For what? Because their body is like, go, fuck, die. And so they do it. Crazy. And it's so important to nature. Like, so many animals rely on the salmon run. It like feeds bears for months because they know every fucking salmon, this stampede of fish, is now on their turf and they're eating good. It's crazy. Something else also crazy is that as soon as the salmon hit fresh water, they stop eating. Their body completely shuts down. They have like their sole drive is to swim upstream, spawn, and die, and their body knows that. They like get nutrients from like fat reserves or something, but all of their organs shut down, and they just are on autopilot, and they're like, go swim upstream. It's insane. And because of that, because they spawn and they immediately die, Their body and their organs are shutting down. Their body knows that they're about to die. And a lot of times these salmon will start to decay before they're actually dead because their organs don't work. It's crazy. It's a phenomenon. It's called zombie salmon. Look it up. These salmon, they're like missing chunks of their body. An eye is gone, and they're still swimming. They're on zombie autopilot because they're like, we gotta get up to that stream, we gotta fuck, and we gotta die. That's all they know. Crazy. Zombie fish. And then they get to where they were hatched, they spawn, they die within a few days of laying their eggs. Now you've got a bajillion rotting salmon corpses in these freshwater streams. And they're all like half decayed. And the bears eat them. And it's a thing, I guess it's like a thing, you know how we get the meat sweats? You ever get the meat sweats? You know when you eat like a big old burger and you're like, there is grease coming out of my pores right now. Bears have the same thing. During the salmon run, they eat these like rotting salmon carcasses and then they fucking reek. It's like a thing when I was in Alaska. They were like, during the salmon run, you don't need to be afraid if there's a bear because you can smell them from a mile away. They smell disgusting. So if you're ever in the Alaskan wilderness and it smells like bacterial vaginosis, you better run, Kemosabe, because there's a bear approaching. Yeah, they're uber smelly. But the salmon run, it's so metal. It's so cool. So no wonder the indigenous communities like relied on it so heavily. It's like truly a gift from nature, am I right? Like just loads of fish swimming right up into your grill. And they had all these different methods for fishing that I learned about. They did spear fishing and ice fishing, and they wove nets and all that jazz. There's a million ways to eat salmon. They smoked it, they fermented it. I think they eat it raw. They use the ulu to cut salmon too. It is so interesting. And they use everything. Again, when I was at the museum, it was like they use the skin, they use the bones, they use oil that they get from the. It's crazy. They be using that shit. And that's so cool. I love that. I love I love sustainability. I do. I actually don't really like salmon though. I'm not a big salmon fan. I like seafood. Salmon to me is like too fishy. I can do salmon if it's like on sushi and it's super fresh. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of salmon. My sister though, fun fact, my sister does supply chain for a company that distributes seafood like to grocery stores. So she knows so much about fucking salmon. And she has taught me a lot. Well, the salmon that she sells is farm raised, but her company, it's called Blue Circle Foods. I'll plug it, free promo. Blue Circle Foods is Whole Foods certified, and Whole Foods has like a ton of regulations in place to sell their products. They have to be like super environmentally friendly. So it's actually like a pretty like legit like green little operation they got going there. They have these farms, but they're ocean pens, so they're like in the natural habitat. And the feed that they give them is like very much what they'd be eating in the wild. It's like completely organic and sustainably caught and all this jazz. And yeah, it's also kind of funny. I guess like if a salmon is really stressed out, if a salmon is stressed out when it's killed, they like tense up and the meat is not as good. So another thing about salmon farming is when they kill them, they have to like make them super comfortable. They have to like chill. They have to chill out. They have to make sure the salmon is relaxed and having a good old time. And then they kill them like really quickly and humanely. But they make sure that they're comfortable and chill. I kind of like that. They give them an edible and they tell them to watch Planet Earth. That's what chills me out. Story time though. I went to Alaska this summer. It was so cool. Alaska was one of the most beautiful, pristine places I've ever seen. I I want to say untouched, but I'm pretty sure you're really not supposed to say that because obviously the indigenous communities have been living off of that land for centuries. But I've never experienced anything where like I took a scenic train through the Chugach National Forest and like I was looking out the window of the train and it's just like as far as my eye can see, there is no evidence of civilization. Of like there's no buildings, no roads. It's crazy. It's just forest and streams and little critters. It's beautiful. Beautiful. And I'm from Rochester, New York, okay? There's 2 Applebee's restaurants within a mile radius of my home. Okay? We got Panera U-Pick too. Broccoli cheddar soup in a bread bowl. They got the salmon run. Little different. Unlike anything I've ever experienced. It was so cool. Yeah. And I was able to see the salmon run. It was happening while I was there. So I could see the salmon. And it was really cool too. They turn this really pretty red color when they're doing their migration, which really doesn't help their chances against like bears and shit. They're a giant red creature moving through the stream. But they're super pretty. And they're like polka dot too. Y'all know about polka dot salmon? Y'all know about houndstooth salmon? Chevron salmon? Anyway, I did this really cool excursion. It was like a 12-hour day trip. And I did it by myself. Big balls on me. Huge cojones. And I took a train from Anchorage to Seward. And one of the stops we made was at a salmon weir, which I guess is like a man-made contraption where they're able to, it's kind of like a dam so they can control the flow of these like downhill streams, but it allows salmon to get through so they can swim up. I'm not like 100% sure of the mechanics, but it was so cool. I got there. There's like a rapid right in front of the entrance to the weir, and I was watching salmon like actually like fucking jump up and clear this rapid. And the water's moving so fast. The current is so strong. These fuckers are just swimming because they're like, gotta fuck. They're so horned up. But then when I was there, we get to the weir. I've told the story on TikTok, so you've probably heard it before. But we get to the weir, and I'm noticing like I'm seeing the water coming through, but there's like bars. So like no salmon can get up. So I asked the guide that was like on the tour, I was like, hey, like how does this work? Like the salmon can't get through. And he's like, oh yeah, so the weir's not actually open right now. Like someone has to open it. So it's only open during business hours. Sir, these are salmon. They don't know what time it is. They're unaware of the time constraints of capitalism. They're just trying to do their thing. And you're stopping them from doing their thing. Business hours, they don't have jobs or clocks. They're fish. I thought that was crazy. I thought that was the most kooky bananas thing I've ever heard. Business hours for salmon in this economy? It's time for them to fuck. And you're cock-blocking them so hard. I thought that was crazy. But yeah, pretty cool to see some salmon. Also in Alaska, what else did I do? Oh, I drove through Denali National Park. Driving through Denali National Park with Noah Khan on the radio is like church. That's my religion, whatever the fuck that is. It was amazing. It was so beautiful. The air was so crisp air. We went ziplining in Denali. That was really cool. What else did we do? I saw some moose. I saw a bear at one point. When I was on the train, it was crossing the train tracks. That was pretty cool. It had a cub with it. A little baby cub. Love. Also when we were in Denali, we stopped at there's like this little mountain town outside of Denali called Talkeetna. So cute. All these little shops, like gift shops and breweries and little food stands. It was so cool. I had a delightful Pilsner in Talkeetna. Something very interesting though that I want to say is that I don't think there's much of like plumbing in Talkeetna. I could be wrong, but every toilet I went into was a pit toilet. So a big old hole in the ground that you shit in. Kind of like upscale porta potty vibes. It doesn't smell quite as bad. I think there's like something they put in there to like neutralize the odor, but it's a big hole of shit. And a lot of the cabins and stuff in Talkeetna, like people who actually live there, they have outhouses with pit toilets because they don't have plumbing. Also, so crazy. Not like a whole ton of infrastructure in these like super like wilderness parts, right? How do they get around? Everyone has a fucking bush plane. Everyone has a bush plane. We're in Talkeetna. There's just like planes flying around, people landing and parking and going to get like food with their planes. What is that about? Once again, I have to pull the I'm from Rochester, New York card. I drive a 2010 Mazda. No, it's not a Mazda. It's a Matrix. I got confused because her name is Marsha. Her name is Marsha. Marsha. I can't believe I just misgendered her. Mismodeled her. Anyway, yeah. So bush planes were kind of cuckoo bananas. Bush planes and pit toilets. But also the most beautiful place I've ever been in my entire life. It was so cool. A lot of the shops were like indigenous owned and they sold ulus. You can buy an ulu and go fucking chopping up your own salmon if you're so inclined. God damn. I think my closing remarks would be that in the wake of this horrible world we're living in, with an election that resulted in a fucking psychopath being our president, I think we should learn something from the salmon. We gotta learn to just keep swimming upstream. Just keep swimming upstream. And I mean, listen, I don't think the purpose of your life should be to fucking die. But you see a waterfall, you gotta jump over it, you know? We got Donald Trump unleashing a downhill stream of shit. And we need to swim through it, guys. We need to swim through it. I'm so scared for the future. Let's see if the class has any questions, shall we? I asked for any questions from the class on Instagram. Make sure you're following on Instagram so you can participate. Participation grade. 7 Luna asks, what did you eat while you were in Alaska? Great question. Moose is a huge thing over there, Obvi. I didn't have any moose. I'm not really a gamey meat person. Makes me gag. But seafood obviously is also huge. I had a seafood chowder that was so good and that had salmon in it. I couldn't be in Alaska and not have salmon, so I ate it disguised. I had seafood pasta that was so good. I really wanted crab legs because I always thought like Alaskan crab legs were a huge thing, and crab legs are my favorite food of all time. I have crab legs every year on my birthday. It's my death row meal. I fucking love crab legs. Do you know how much the crab legs cost in Alaska? Like $200. $200 for crab legs? I can't pay that. That's insane. That's ludicrous. So I did not have any crab legs. They do have something in Alaska called fireweed. It's like it's a plant that's everywhere, and it's called that because it's like this really pretty purple orange color. And they make like fireweed syrup, fireweed honey, fireweed ice cream. So I did try fireweed honey, and it was good. I really have not met a type of honey that I don't like. So yeah. How big were the glaciers? Asked Sabrina Smith. Listen. Glaciers, I know they're really important. They contribute like most of the Earth's fresh water. They're just ice. I'm not really like a rock girl. So I was like, yep, there's some ice. It was cool, I guess. I hiked. They're huge, by the way. They're huge. I hiked one and I chewed on some glacial ice. I love chewing on ice. And I was like, I gotta chew this. This is some fresh ice. I gotta chew this. So I'm sitting there smacking on some ice. And it is like you can like fill your water bottle from like a glacier water. It's like so fresh and pure and what have you. But yeah, I don't know. I just like glacier, like the glacier. It's cool. You see one glacier, you see them all. Ooh, sorry. Not a big glacier fan, but they're good for the earth. So slay glaciers. Slacier, if you will. And then finally, Morgan Wolford asked, will you be willing to visit the Pitbull endorsed Walmart up there? So I didn't know what this was, but I saw this question come in and I looked it up. Apparently in 2012, the internet was like trying to cancel Pitbull, like the rapper Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide. And they're trying to cancel him for something. And they're like making a joke that they should like exile him to Alaska. And my guy went with the bit and went to Alaska and like it funded this Walmart. So that's weird. Would I go? Sure. It's a Walmart. Why not? Mr. Worldwide and a Walmart? What's not to like? Those are all the questions I'll be taking at this time. Thank you for tuning in, class, and keep asking questions. Stay curious. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Pesto Pod. That was science class, I guess. Yeah, totally science class. And I hope it inspires you to go have some garlic butter salmon for dinner and go watch Brother Bear. That is what I have to tell you. And I'll see you guys next week. Class is dismissed!